Hello, sunshine. Welcome to the show. We are so glad that you're with us today. On today's show, we are going to be talking to one of the founders of the Grammy Award-winning Elevation Worship. He also wrote songs that you're very familiar with, just to name a few. Come to the Altar, Do It Again, Resurrecting. And he's written songs for people like Phil Wickham, Brian and Katie Torwalt, Pat Barrett, Jesus Culture, and so many more. But our person and guest and wonderful friend of ours is now a solo artist, and he has a new song out, Just Like You've Always Done. So we encourage you to go check that out. Go look it up after you're done watching the show. We're going to be talking about his professional life and personal life today. So whoever you are, wherever you are, welcome. I'm Tamra, and this is Quality Tam. Quality Tam. Mack Brock, everybody. Hi, Mack.
What's up?
Welcome.
How are you?
Welcome to the show. I am thrilled.
It's good to be here.
I'm thrilled that you're here. We thank you so much for taking the time. I know that your busy schedule is very full, so we won't keep you long, but we still just want to enjoy
It's just
this
full with like
precious
normal
time.
family stuff, like normal like kid stuff. That's all
life.
my calendar is really full with. Yeah.
Like your actual
I'm no
life.
busier than anybody else.
Well, good. And you got your beautiful wife, Meredith, who is wonderful. I've had got the chance to meet her when you guys were in town. And I got to meet Cyrus, who is really cute.
Yep.
And this girl can sing.
The cutest.
She can sing.
Yes.
Right?
She can. She sings. She writes songs. She's a gift to us.
Is her little heart just like, Dad, look what I wrote? She like, gets so excited. What kind of stuff? What does she write about? What kind of stuff does she write about?
I mean, she does write like a lot of like worship songs and songs to Jesus, but then she'll also write about the moon and animals and stuff like that. So she's all over the place, but she's
that's
the best.
still worship. That's still worship because he made it all. So that's great. And then we got little Harvey.
Yes.
I saw little Harvey because he's got his robots. Is he literally building robots?
Yeah. So he's on a robotics team. He's on the wrestling team now. He's full on middle schooler. He's doing all the things. So we're just trying to keep up.
He's middle school?
I know.
How old is middle school? 12,
yes,
11?
he is. I am the dad of a middle schooler.
Oh my goodness. That's crazy. So you and I got to meet about, what has it been? Maybe 4 years now, I think, ago?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think-ish. And I have had the privilege of leading worship with you quite a bit, which was wonderful. And
it's awesome.
in that time, I think it's really neat because, over time it was like, oh, Harvey's doing this or Cyrus is doing this. And then even too, when she came in, and it was cute how like the little phases of life, and I saw her and I was like, hi. And she's like, I don't know what to do now. And Meredith's like, that's what we're teaching her to say instead of like, know.
Right. It's so funny.
Like, who are you? What the heck is happening right now?
My kids just love to go to church with me because they love to go in the green room, but it's not to meet anybody. It's just to get the snacks and the Cheez-Its and the fruit snacks that they always have in the green room.
Yes. They're like, why? I'm not here for you, lady. I'm here for this stuff over here. Thanks.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Well, she was adorable, and her precious.
They're still that way. Yeah, they're still that way.
They're so cute. So cute. Well, I want to get into, there's two parts that I love having you here. And one of the parts of knowing that we've been able to lead worship together, I say that because I've had the chance of kind of seeing you, not a ton. I mean, we didn't like spend every waking moment, but it was like enough time to, I think, see a side of you that I don't know a lot of people get to see. Excuse me. When people are around, because sometimes you come in, you guest lead, right? You'll lead worship, or you'll come into a church, you'll kind of do your thing, and then you'll sort of go on your way and then go do the next thing or whatever that it is. I consider it an honor because you were able to spend quite a bit of time with myself, with the team, and you poured into us a lot, which I really appreciate. And in that time, I've noticed that you've shown a level of consistency. You've been very consistent.
Okay.
And,
yeah.
and with that said, like, I think a lot of people ask you questions and they say, hey, this is Mack Brock, who's like the guy who, remember, he was writing with Elevation and he's got this song like, Oh, Come to the Altar, hit like double platinum, something crazy. And then there was like Resurrecting was like a massive song. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, it's so good, which they're right. It's good. And you're so talented. And I want to talk about how talented you are. But I think that in seeing your worship leading and seeing how you are with such respect and such love towards people off the stage, I wanted to kind of bring light to that because I believe that's a huge reason as to why you're so good at what you do. I know that God has gifted you. I believe you are anointed. I believe the Lord has just really, really blessed you in music, but also with a sensitivity towards people and towards just towards an atmosphere. And so with that said, I encourage you listeners, guys, to go listen to this new song, Just Like You've Always Done. Excellent song. I heard it and I was like,
Thank you.
Okay. Just let that keep playing. You know, when
Thank
you
you.
go on and you can just hit it and then it just like, since you don't have it like on any like album, you just have the one song. So it just keeps looping and looping and looping. I was like, that's fine. It can loop.
And then you're like, shoot, I can't believe I've listened to this song 5 times.
1,700 times. Just kidding. Yes. So go take a listen to it. We'll put it down in the link. We'll link you guys to all of Mack's stuff as well. But Mack, you grew up in the church. Is that right?
Yep. My dad's a pastor. And I think, you know, just even to speak to what you're saying about people and loving people, like I honestly, I learned all that from my dad, and he's been a pastor, you know, my whole life, but he's been at the same church now for over 30 years. And to see my dad, he is just like such a relational pastor. He just cares so deeply about people. I always just grew up just seeing him love on people and care for people. And yeah, he's awesome.
That's really cool because it does seem like that has sort of just seeped into what you do. So it's obvious that your parents made an impact because it has made an impact also in the people that you're constantly in touch with as well. So
you.
do you think, have you ever been away from, if I can say that, as much as you'd like to share, of course, but have you ever been away from the church? Like, did you ever say like, nah, this isn't for me, I think I'll just go do my own thing? Or
No, I really haven't. Which is, even that in and of itself is such a gift. Like I grew up in the church, grew up playing music in the church. And then even when I got married, I got married pretty young. I was 22 when I got married, and just immediately, like me and my wife, like we're both doing ministry, like right off the bat in church world. And so I've kind of just like always been in it and always been a part of churches and on church staff or doing ministry. And I love church. I love God's church, and I love what
is it? What is it? Do you think
God
that
is continuing to do?
Do you think, what is it that kind of kept you in that? I don't know, sort of in that vein. Like, was there anything that ever just kind of like just repulsed you about where you were, or aggravated you, or ever like being in the ministry life, you know, and growing up with my parents who were worship pastors and things like that as well. I kind of had to figure out sort of like, is this what I believe in? Because I believe in it. I'm not riding on anyone's coattails, but I am trying to figure out what this is for me, but I do love it, you know? So it's like, how did you navigate through that?
Yeah, there was a season. I mean, even when I was in college, and even when I first got married, like that, I always like loved the church. I kind of never like rebelled in that sense, but I didn't want to be on staff at a church, and I didn't want to lead worship, and I didn't. Yeah. There was a season where I wanted to just like pursue, like I went to school for something totally outside of ministry.
You did?
And for a long time, like that was like my goal of like what I wanted to do, like something totally separate.
Wow.
But, and this is part of my story, and part of what I'm grateful for in my life is the Lord like always like gave me opportunities, even when my heart wasn't fully in it. He like still gave me opportunities to lead worship and to be plugged into churches. And I was never like I said, I was never rebellious, or even like when I was leading worship, like back in those days, it was never out of like a I really don't want to be doing this, but
Right.
it's in front of me, so I'm going to do it. But it wasn't what I was pursuing as like, this is what I want to make my career.
Sure.
But the Lord like continued to allow me to do it. And ultimately just kind of like one step in front of the other, like led to like being on church staffs or, moving to Charlotte to help kind of be a part of Elevation early on.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then just kind of went from there.
Wow. So what was like, do you remember a moment that kind of catapulted you into this new, or was it just gradual?
Like, what do you mean? Like,
Like kind of
just like
like
being
you
a
were like,
worship leader,
yeah, I'm going to
or-
be a worship leader. And now and then you were working at Elevation for what, roughly 10 years ish. I don't, and
Yeah.
then kind of going on your own, which you very much so still work with other
Yeah, I
artists and
think-
churches.
Yeah, I think I grew up leading at church, and I grew up leading worship, and that was always in front of me, and that was always kind of the thing that I did. And then even when I was like in college and when I first got married, I wanted to do like career-wise, wanted to do something totally separate, but I
Right.
kept leading worship because it was kind of, I was like good at it, and I liked doing it. I just didn't want to I didn't want to make it like my job. And
Sure.
even when we first moved to Charlotte and early on staff at Elevation, I was leading worship at the church every single week, but leading worship was almost the secondary to me to like get a chance to write songs or get a chance to produce records. That was like where my heart was at, and that's what I was like most passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until like my mid-20s that I did have like an encounter with the Lord while leading worship that was very profound and very powerful, like on my life. And I realized like,
Yeah.
man, this is what I feel like I'm called to do more than anything else.
That's awesome.
And I still like to write songs. I still like to make records, but actually like leading God's people is kind of priority for me. And that's like where like everything kind of shifted for me and shifted in like what I wanted to really pursue in my own heart and pursue in my own spirit was like actually like leading worship. And so since then, that's been like the biggest aspect of my life.
How old were
outside
you
of like my family,
roughly?
like leading worship.
What
Yeah.
was your age like around that time?
I was probably like 27, 28
Yeah,
when that happened.
that's great.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good age. That's like right in the
Yeah.
like the pocket of
Right.
just like you're maturing more, but you're not there.
It
Like
feels
for-
late.
you're
It
like,
feels
"Ugh."
late to me, but now that I'm 40, I'm like, oh yeah, no, that was a good time.
Yeah, good. That's how I feel about having a baby at like 38. So I was like,
Right.
slow this down.
Yeah.
Oh man. So, okay, so then with your family and with your work life, how do you kind of balance that in a healthy way? Do I get a thumbs up? That's exciting. I just saw a thumbs up.
Yeah, I was just wondering, I don't know what just happened, but some, these bubbles keep popping up on my feed where it's like a bubble of a thumbs up, and I don't know why that's happening.
It's just a confirmation. The Holy Spirit's giving us a little thumbs up.
You're doing a good job.
If you or anyone you know would like to sponsor a show, visit QualityTam.com. Remember to like and subscribe and follow QualityTam on Facebook and Instagram.
Chill, bro. QualityTam.